you, baby, because I do me. Oh, no, that ain't no chip on my shoulders. I'm just simply saying that I ain't your cup of tea to drink soda. That's right, it's finally me and I'm bolder. So the counterfeit relationships, I won't lose sleep. Finally me, for real. Walking in my purpose, it's good to be free, for real. Knowing that all things they are working, I finally see myself. I know that I am worth it. I ain't even scratched the surface. He be blessing me on purpose. Finally me. Never been afraid to voice no opinion. What if they don't like what I suggest? What if they get offended? But ain't it crazy how fear can misguide your true intentions when you can be the very person in position someone else for winning? You be feeling like your predicament, someone hypocritic. I mean, if I ain't got it, how in the world I'ma tell you to get it? See, but we all play a part, baby. We all different. You just gotta decide what you gonna do with what you've been given. See, I learned that being humble show don't mean timid. And I learned that if you stumble, you can still finish. See, you ain't got to hide behind nobody. Stop pretending. If you really want it, then get off your behind and get it. So what if they don't see it? That don't mean he ain't give you vision. Shoot, I made them haters lemonade when they gave me lemons. What you got is beautiful, baby, start to finish. Fearfully and wonderfully they created and finally me, for real. Walking in my purpose, it's good to be free, for real. Knowing that all things they are working, I finally see myself. I know that I am worth it. I ain't even scratched the surface. He be blessing me on purpose. Finally me. I begin to try to convince her work was irrelevant, but God defends her day. So
what's up, everybody? It's finally me, for real, Dr. Jazz on Friday. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. Hey, listen, the hashtag is finally me. Use the number 4 real. I know it's not good grammar, but hey, listen, it's my show. I can do whatever I want to do. So it's finally me, the number 4 real. And it's the month of June. First of all, guys, I am in an RV. I've never been in an RV in my life. I decided to rent an RV on Monday because I just had to get out of my house because the church is in my house, ministries in my house, families in my house, the dog is in my house. Lord have mercy. Everything is in my house. And I can just relax in my house. So I rented an RV. I got the twins, picked up the twins, got a police officer so I can be protected and a driver. And drove down to Myrtle Beach, and I'm in an RV park. I've never even been in an RV park before. It's crazy. I need prayers all around me. Is the Trump 2020? Everybody got a Trump 2020 flag. Everybody. So it's just crazy. But this is the RV life. But anyway, thank God I got connection. I got internet. I don't know for how long, but long enough to talk to my friend, this guy I just admire, love him. Y'all wouldn't even believe we were in school together. We're gonna try to keep it. He's not gonna tell no story about me, about how my heart was broken. But that smile on his face, I can tell he's gonna tell some stuff about it. Hey, everybody, help me welcome Pastor Keith Battle.
Your secret's safe with me.
I appreciate it. Man, how you doing and how's the family?
Hey, so far so good, thank God. We're grateful. I'm grateful. In these times in which we live, we have more to be grateful for than we have to complain about. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I love the bed, man. I love it. How's it going? How's the wifey? What's she saying about it?
I don't know. I guess she likes it. I just don't feel like, Bobby was closed, so now my daughter's cutting my hair, and that's a trip. So I don't, I think she would say something if she didn't like it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll ask her. To be honest with you, I haven't even asked her. I like it. I like it. So make me feel grown up. Make me feel like I'm a real adult now.
Yeah, Battle, how long y'all been married?
It'll be 31 years next week on the 17th.
31 years?
We got married at 8, though. We're only 8 when we got Yeah.
30.
We got married 30,
Wow.
31.
Wait a minute.
We've been married longer than some of the people in your chat room been living.
I'm sure you have. I'm sure. And last year, didn't you renew your vows? 30 years?
Yeah, you were there. And you left before the man. I had your husband there, and you left. You're too fast. You got to slow down. You got to slow down, and sometimes God moves at a slower pace. He's in a still voice. It's a still voice. You rolled out, and he rolled in. I had him. I had him there for you.
I missed him that close.
It was a few hours.
Well, listen, you need to have a renewal of vow this year and just invite him and me.
That's it. Just have y'all there. Just show up. That way it won't be any confusion.
Yep. Well,
Absolutely.
Listen. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks again for joining us. We won't hold you too long, but just a couple of questions. Everybody knows at the end you can ask Pastor Battle any question. Hey, I'm getting ready to do a series of sermon in the month of July, and it's entitled A Different World. Different world. All right. So, you see that show, of course, Jasmine, it was in the show, Have you ever watched A Different World?
Yeah. With the kid with the flipped up glasses. And yeah, it was a college show. Sinbad in it. It's come on right after. It was a spinoff of the Cosby Show. That's where Lisa Bonet went to school, right?
Right.
I don't think she stayed on that show very long. But yeah, I know that.
Okay.
And
So, this year, it's a different world from COVID-19 to systemic racism. Do you see it's a different world, and what kind of world do you see it now?
Not only it's what the main difference is that we used to have, it's like we could do this kind of stuff before, but now it's all we do. Everything is virtual. All of our meetings are virtual. All of our, we've had to become adept at using technology now, or we're going to get left behind. If you don't have a business that can service customers and clients virtually, you're going to get left behind. If you don't have products and services that can serve your customers virtually, you're going to get left behind. If you sell food, but your food can't get to your customers, if you can't deliver your food, you're going to get left behind. It's like this thing didn't happen fast enough for us to hope it bounced back to the way it was. It may never be exactly like it was, because if you remember, on September 11, 2001, since that time, that's 19 years ago, we still don't fly the same way. It's 19 years later. You can't just show up at a local airport and you got a flight at 9:30 and show up at the airport at 8:30. You used to get to the airport in an hour, you were fine. Now, depending upon the airport, if you're not there 2 hours early, you're going to miss your flight, because we will never fly the way we used to fly. And I don't know if we'll ever interact the way we used to interact after COVID-19. It's not only a different world now, it may be a different world going forward.
Oh, let me tell you, it's so crazy. You know what I'm nervous about is so many people who put their lives on pause, and this is what they say: I can't wait for us to get back. And get back to what? Right.
Yeah, we want to get back to the way things were. Get back to going to church. Get back to being able to go to the movies like we used to. Get back to being around people. I think this has changed the way we have. It's changed the entertainment industry. Think about this, Dr. Jazz. How are we going to educate students now? Like, remember, people used to laugh at people who had online ministries and they were doing multi-sites or streaming. They said, you can't do no church with video. How you minister people on video? But now, if you're a church and you surviving, you better be filming and doing video now. And now online school, online classes, online education, all of it has to move onto those platforms now.
Yeah.
So yeah, like people who want to wait till things go back to the way they were, I think are going to be gravely disappointed when they see that this may extend longer than we anticipate. Because every time a state opens up, their numbers spike. Like with COVID-19 start spiking again. And I don't think we've seen with just the rallies going on and the protests going on, like people on social distancing out there, I think we haven't even seen a new wave of coronavirus positive testing. And that's not to be a sad prophet or a negative prophet. It's just, we got to adjust. I think that's a t-shirt. You should come up with a t-shirt and say, just adjust. Just adjust.
I got you. I'll give you credit. I'll give you credit for it because, I got a t-shirt called "It's Better to Be 6 Feet Apart Than 6 Feet Under."
That's true. For sure. I think it's better.
Yeah. You hitting so much stuff on the nail. You talking about we have to adapt and adjust, even virtual dating.
Wow.
I started virtual dating. Yeah. Yeah.
You've been on a virtual date?
I've been on a virtual date.
Hey y'all, I'm gonna flip this. I'm gonna do the interview now. I'm about to get the tea. I'm getting to get the tea. You should have said that. You should have said that. We want to know. Dr. Jazz went on a virtual date. When was it? It had to be in the last 90 days. When was it?
Oh, it was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. I went on a virtual date, and man, let me tell you, I love it.
Was it somebody you already knew, or was it somebody you didn't know?
No, I didn't know the person. I signed up for it. I signed up for it. This thing, virtual dating, like how they match, be match, and it's virtual be match, and I signed up, and I'm telling you, it was great. Nice.
Well, here's the thing: as a Christian, we don't have to. It ain't but so far you can go, huh? Watch out. Touch your neighbor. You can't touch your neighbor, huh? They haven't figured that one out yet. So I like that. That's what's up. That's what's up. You gonna do it again?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I think, I was telling somebody, Matthew 28, go ye therefore into all the world, right? And I think people don't even factor in that Jesus said, go ye therefore into all the world. That includes the digital world. Now, I'm going to tell you, I have embraced this world. I love this world. I've done something in this world that is amazing. I think the digital world is a great world. We've left the industrial world, but we're in the digital world. Here's the thing, and then I'll move on to the other segment. The problem I realized is, you and I are on Facebook, or we either on IG, or we do a lot of meeting on Zoom. And I was saying to somebody, nothing is worse than digital slavery.
Okay.
Because all of these platforms are not owned by any African American.
Wow.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? So we got systemic racism. Now we come into the digital world, and it's some challenge because IG, Facebook, Twitter, all of them are owned, but none of it by African Americans. So I was telling somebody, you have a young adult who's in the basement. I know they're smoking weed. If they're in the basement, they're smoking weed. I don't get that's on them, but they need to create something, and I think it should be called Boom, not Zoom.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah, for sure. Because if it provides the same services and outlets and connections, why wouldn't we support somebody, a Black person who has a similar platform for us to utilize? I'm with it. I was thinking when this first started, like, whoever owns Zoom has got to be doing good. Like whatever the cost is for a Zoom platform, whatever the marketing around it, like everybody needs it now. So we do. Yeah. Wasn't there a Black digital platform at one time though?
I don't know.
Okay, I thought it was something at one time, but I don't know because I'm like late to the digital game. Like Black Planet, or is that just is that not? I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat knows.
Yeah, somebody put it in the chat. If y'all know anything, I'm talking to Pastor Keith Battle. We were in school together, great classmate. We pastor in here in the DMV together. Amazing ministry, love it. and just chit-chatting. And of course, everybody know we never had men on these platforms, so we're excited about having Pastor Battle, because Finally Me for Real is a ladies platform, but the whole month of June we're bringing in men on the platform. So
nice.
Pastor Battle, you got this book.
MySpace and Black Planet. Was MySpace, Renita, was MySpace black owned?
MySpace black owned.
Was it black owned?
Somebody said Black Planet.
I thought Black Planet was something. I don't know what it was, but
yeah. They say Black Planet. So I'll find it, but I just think we need it. But listen, so two things.
Yeah.
I know you've been watching the George Floyd situation. Where were you? When did you see the video, and how did you feel?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't been able to stomach the whole 9 minutes. I can't watch the whole thing. It's just it's too much, you know. I saw enough to know that the man was killed. He was murdered. And I saw it the day it first went public, probably the evening that it happened, because that video got out pretty quickly. And I had a range of emotions, from depression to anger to rage to what can we do. And you know, Dr. Jazz, we were just trying to get some momentum around Ahmaud Arbery's situation,
right,
to bring attention to that. And this just overwhelmed it. So I'm kind of glad about it, because it's gotten more momentum than Trayvon Martin's situation or Michael Brown, because we saw it, we watched it, and it's got enough national attention on it. So I just took the approach from my standpoint, what can we do to keep our foot on the gas? You know, legislative level, like holding policymakers and lawmakers accountable for this act and for laws in the future. So it brought all the blindness in me. Like I'm a mad black man right now, but I'm not so mad that I'm not being strategic. Like I'm not trying to go blow something up. I am trying to blow up a system though. And in order to blow up a system, you gotta be strategically mad. So it has made me strategically mad. I'm focused on it right now, and I'm going to start a series on it right now. So around justice and mental health, because this thing has impacted our wellness psychologically. When you're fighting a pandemic, you're already dealing with stress and anxiety around, you know, I got to wear a mask, don't get around me, who coughed and all that. That's already a depleter. But then when you add this social upheaval around injustice and racism, and then we don't have a king who can trust, right? There was a time when you would wait to hear from the king, and everybody, shh, the king is about to speak. And we would hold our hearts as the king spoke. But we got a king in this country. We don't know what's going to come out of his daggone mouth. Like every time he says something, he makes it worse. So where do we look to? And the very police we call when there's a crime have collectively proven that they're not trustworthy. They're taking our lives. So it's a very difficult time to live in right now, with all of the pressure of living in pressure quarters, like you said in your introduction. My church is in my house, family's in my house, my ministry's in my house, my meetings in my house, my staff in my like we're already under pressure. I'm opening up this song with that song is called "The Message" by Grandmaster Flash, and he said in the message, he says, "Don't push me, because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head." Right? He says it's like a jungle sometimes. It makes you wonder how I keep from going under. And in this jungle, we're not Tarzan and Jane in this jungle. We're the hunters. We're the endangered. So, you know, it's exhausting. It's fatiguing, but it's an opportunity. I believe we were raised up as leaders for such a time as this. We didn't know it was coming at this level, but we have to step up and be responsible as leaders.
Wow. Yeah. Battle, you have a son.
We got two sons.
Two sons.
Yeah.
How have they been? How have you been processing it with them? How have they been doing?
You know, when we first had a sit down and a conversation about this was back in 2015, when Freddie Gray died in police custody, and it was back then that all Black brothers started. When it was happening with Michael Brown in 2014, when it kept happening, we had to all have that conversation as black men with our sons, and I did with my sons. This is what I want you to do when you get arrested. When you get pulled over, I'm sorry. When you're in police custody, this is what you do. I need you to stay alive. I need you to just follow directions. We'll take care of it later. So they've been kind of coached up on it. They know this. We've gone through this before. This time, my sons are now 26 and 24, so I didn't really feel like I needed to circle backward on the conversation. But it's still scary. It's scary for me as a 54-year-old black man to have siren lights behind me in the car. Putting down my windows, telling everybody not to move. Where's the wallet? Like, it's right here. It's for my sons. We've gone through this and had this conversation. Now my focus is on legislation.
Yeah.
There's certain things we got to do to hold police officers accountable for the way they police, breaking it. And let me say this, Dr. Jazz, particularly to your audience, because you're down women platform here. One of the things we decided to do was, since George Floyd's case is getting so much attention, and our Marbury case is getting significant attention, we decided to financially invest in a defense fund for Breonna Taylor. Because while everybody's paying attention to this, we keep talking about our black men are in danger. Black women are in danger standing in your own daggone house, laying in your own bed. Like, you don't have to get pulled over. Like, you can get shot watching your kid play a video game or laying in the bed instantly and somebody break in the house and spray you up and get shot. So we want to make sure there's justice in that situation, because there's been no arrest. Oh, I take that back. Right. But we say there's been no arrest. There was an arrest. They arrested the boyfriend, and he wasn't even guilty of anything, had a registered weapon, and he was just defending his household. Yeah. So while we're paying attention to Minneapolis, we've had funerals for George Floyd, there's not a lot of attention on the black woman, and y'all always have our back. Y'all always stand up for us. Y'all always there in the riots for us. We got attention to the Breonna Taylor situation as a 26-year-old first responder whose life was taken illegally. That was a crime.
Right.
That was a crime.
Man, you hit it on the nail, because I was talking to Bishop O'Neill. I said, listen, I'm not trying to add no water to the fire with George Floyd, but hey, listen, Breonna Taylor, and I know a death is a death, from Michael Brown to Trayvon, but Breonna Taylor is a name, and there's no justice for Breonna Taylor. And you know me, I'm all about supporting the African-American man, the African-American community, but I'm very passionate about the Breonna Taylor situation, because my passion is women. Women are dear to me, so I appreciate you even jumping in regards to that, because I was just telling Bishop O'Neill that I said I don't want to take anything away from George Floyd. This was a great movement, but let's not forget Breonna Taylor, because there was something that was out there, for her, say her name, and then that turned around to say his name. And I'm like, hey, listen, let's not forget Breonna. And I read an article, Battle, and it says, if we're not competing, we're just completing. Yeah. It's not compete. It's not. So for you to complete everything, you need to include Breonna and Zuma. All of those people, Trayvon Martin, everybody, and include Breonna. So I appreciate you sharing with that. I think last year, I got a book from you, and I was just moved by this book that you wrote. First of all, the courage to write it, and of course, you told me, I need you to read this chapter. Just read this chapter. The chapter you had me reading on singles. You read you had a chapter just for singles.
Oh yeah. There's a lot in there about singles in the book, but it's one chapter in particular. I told you to read that.
Right. So the book is called Side Chickology.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Tell them about the book and what made you write the book. I think the subtitle is Why Men and Women Cheat. So what in the world are you thinking writing that book?
Yeah, so I like ology words. If I'm talking about the rib that Adam gave up to get his wife, I'll call it ribology. If I'm doing an illustration on birds, I'll just say, let me give y'all some birdology. That's just something I do. But side chicks are are talked about and kind of minimized and discriminated against in the community. But I wanted to do a study on infidelity. The book is a study on infidelity, how it happens, and how you can know the pattern. Or there's a pathology to infidelity that happens rhythmically in relationships. There's an atrophy that happens in every relationship. People fall in love, they're passionate, they have an online date, they feeling each other, they vibing. And something about marriage makes the man relax. When we get married, we just kind of kick back and say, "Man, I'm done." In fact, most men, when they say they get married, we call it this: "I'm settling down, man." Well, the woman wants you to have the same energy as a husband you had when you was chasing me as a single man, but we don't. That happens, and so marriages naturally atrophy. And then when kids come or opportunities come, people tend to go this way. And they don't go this way and just stay faithful. They go this way and they entertain other people. And so I talk about how they happen, how to avoid it, and here's another thing. There are a lot of marriages that recover from infidelity. And I write about that in the book, in my own story. End up having stronger marriages on the backside of it because they work on it. And so I really just wanted, and it's not just marriages, because infidelity and unfaithfulness happens in courtship. There are people in dating and committed relationships, and the person's already cheating, already being slick, already being unfaithful, already hiding their phone. And I'm saying, what that does is that shows a pattern that's not going to stop just because you say I do. And I feel like if I don't know how we got into a bad situation, I'm more likely to repeat that. So I study patterns in the book. So that's really the subject behind it, trying to get questions. Because a lot of people are scratching their head saying, "Well, I was doing everything I was asked to do as a spouse. I was being there. What were you trying to get?" And it's different for everybody. Sometimes it shows up as sex, but there was something else driving it. It made the person, it could have been loneliness, it could have been a lack of appreciation, it could have been feeling unworthy in their relationship. It could have been feeling like I'm being taken for granted. A lot of it happens, there's certain careers and jobs, Dr. Jazz, that feed into infidelity. One is itinerant speakers. Another one is truck drivers. Another one is regional sales directors. Another one is professional athletes. People who are on the road a lot, who don't travel with their spouses, are automatically vulnerable, particularly when you perform or you do something. When you give up a lot and you give out a lot and you entertain and you serve and you help, what happens when you go back to your room and you feel like, well, I've helped, I've served, I've helped, I've done all these things, I've entertained, I've put on a great show, whatever. Now, who gonna hook me up? Like, I just hooked up 20,000 people. Like, that's a mentality. Like, and so these are contexts where people have to surround themselves with the right support just to protect ourselves. It doesn't mean the person is evil or wicked. It means the person can be broken and empty. And I'd say when we don't know and understand and study that stuff, we're more vulnerable to it. I at least want to know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't want to be doing nothing reckless, and I ain't like aware. Oh yeah, I know when I'm like this. I know what I'm capable of. I know this pattern with me. How am I going to circumvent this to self-care in a healthy way instead of violating my vows or my relationship by doing something that would break the fidelity of the relationship.
Wow. That's powerful. And somebody wants to know how they can get the book because they can't go into the First Baptist Church bookstore. So we'll give you guys the information at the end. Of course, you can drop your question in here. I'm talking to Pastor Keith Battle, Senior Pastor of Zion in the DMV, my good friend. We were classmates together, hanging out at Washington Bible College. And we're just talking about his book, Side Chickology. You know what got me about the book, number one, is you said where men and women cheat. Because sometimes we associate infidelity with only men. Did you find anything strange as you were doing a study on that?
Yeah. So check this out. So first of all, there's a study that actually follows infidelity through decades. And actually, the highest percentage, so most men have a 3% higher rate, just 3%. At its highest is only 7%. Men are only 7% more likely to be unfaithful than a woman. Just women are usually more smarter, they're more careful than men. And so, but the decade where women outnumber men in infidelity is between the ages of 19 to 29, when many of them aren't even married. It's very interesting. But women have 24% of women in their 60s said they cheated.
Did you say 24%?
Of women in their 60s admitted to being unfaithful to their husband. In their 60s, right? But men have down to 20% of men, even up through their 80s, are still cheating. See, because now, performance enhancement pills has changed the game now. Because you can still act like you're 20 one night with some Viagra, like you just like that. But where I think, and I don't know that it's that women in their 60s are more sexually active in that space. I think when women get in their 60s, they just say, I don't care. I'm going to tell you what I did. But they're real careful in their 30s and 40s and 50s because they might be dealing with somebody crazy and they ain't trying to get nobody stabbed or shot. But yeah, in their 60s. And the other thing is, here's the thing that's really popular, is workplace spouses.
Workplace spouses.
Oh my God. That's the deal right there. Like 72% of people in corporate America have either admitted to infidelity or are aware of infidelity within their own firm. So that means every 7 people out of 10 that you interview say, oh yeah, yes, we know people around here cheating on each other. But watch this, only 44% of American people in corporate America admitted to it. Now think about that. 72% say we know what's going on. 44% have admitted to it. And they admitted under anonymity. This is done by a study of the University of Denver did this study, which means that 28% of people know stuff that we ain't admitting. They know what's going on. So they know because you can have a workplace spouse and have no attraction to him. His name might be Dion, and y'all really like brothers and sisters. But it's always public. It's the workplace spouse situation that these conversations go on behind the scenes because these people travel together, they do business trips together, they have hotel rooms next to each other where you can go. You know those rooms? I hate to tell everything, right? You know those rooms you get, and you ain't got to go outside the door to get into the next room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of it happening in the workplace. And the reason why it's so prevalent, Dr. Jazz, in the workplace is because if you work with somebody for 6 years that at some point you found attractive, it's a safer move to go with them because you've been watching them. You know they're stable enough to hold down a job.
Right.
You kind of figure that they probably don't have an STD.
Right.
You kind of been able to see their emotional stability. And basically, you both have enough to lose where you have a trust there that they ain't going to say nothing. And so it's kind of like an easy segue. And how it starts is just with flirtatious conversation. Like just to throw a bait out there, and if it comes back, if the person goes, "What are you talking about?" Then you can say, "I didn't mean that." But if they throw it back and say, maybe you should check and see. Now you know, okay, we can see where this goes. So a lot of it happens in the workplace.
Wow. I see somebody question in the chat before I ask one. They say, do you consider emotional relationship as infidelity? And you guys can put the chat in here. Do you consider emotional relationship as infidelity?
I believe that one is more dangerous than physical infidelity. And the reason why I believe it is because for a man, this is going to sound real tacky, but a man can have sex with a woman and have no feelings for her. I know that's terrible. I know we're low creatures. A man can go and have sex with a woman just because he has an erection. That's it. Most women, unless they do it for a living, usually have to have feelings for a man to give him her body. Man don't have to have a feeling for it. So watch this. If a man is emotionally attached to a woman, that's a deeper level of connection. which means that you can take the sex out of it. Once a woman has his heart, that's harder for him to get back.
Mm.
So I would be as concerned, if not more concerned, about a person that he was sharing his deepest feelings with
Mm.
than he was having sex with. That's now typically, because we tend to sexualize our deepest emotional needs, usually it will evolve into sex because we just don't know where to take all these vibes and all this, you're my soulmate kind of stuff. But I would say it's harder for a man to break off an emotional bond with a woman than a sexual one if he had no interest in
Wow.
it.
Thank you.
All of it's bad.
Right.
It's all bad. Virtual for infidelity, verbal infidelity. When the person travels and takes their ring off to act like they're not married, that's a level of infidelity. Flirting.
Yeah.
I say this, even texting a person or making comments on a page, anything you got to hide from the person you're in a relationship with is infidelity.
Yep.
That's what I talk about in the book. There are levels to it.
Wow. Hey, everybody, I'm talking to Pastor Keith Battle. I got about 10 minutes, so you can put your question in the chat. I can ask it. So, Battle, you give us some very important statistics about infidelity in corporate America. But you and I, although we know our churches are businesses, on the other hand, they're not corporate America, but they're churches. And infidelity is huge in the churches. And when I read your book, I was like, "Ooh, he's about to be lynched in the church world," because that's like a hush hush. You know my story. You know my story about being married and going to my pastor and with the situation of my spouse having infidelity, and they just tell me, "Hey, chuck it up, Jazz. That's what men do."
Wow.
So and that was somebody I looked up to. So how do you even address it in the church world? In the church world.
Well, to your point, lynch may be a strong word, but I don't get invited to a lot of places I used to get invited to because of it. They know I want to bring the book in there, and they know I'm going to bring it up. So it's like almost selling out. Like, what you doing? And I'm saying, why wouldn't we bring attention to this situation when it's hurting our ministries? Because where it's going on, now you tell me if you believe this. I really believe. I believe that we actually hinder the potential of the ministry when that stuff is going on. There's only so far we can take the ministry if it doesn't have corporate integrity, if it doesn't have integrity at its core. And part of that is because it's not that God doesn't have grace, it's that you can't be as effective when you're too distracted with your addiction, right? And some people are addicted to gambling, some people are addicted to shopping, some people are addicted to food, some people are addicted to sex and to infidelity. And so you can't be at your best when you're always hooking up and covering up and setting up and hooking up and covering up and setting up and hooking up. Like it's like another job.
Right.
So, and it's breaking up families too. See, that's the thing, is it's destroying families and splintering and we say, we look at what the white man and what systemic racism has done to the black family. Well, so in some ways we're doing it to ourselves with infidelity. And it's so I think you're right. It has caused there to be like I'm surprised at places I used to go regularly, like, what happened? And I understand until I make that less of an issue. Some people don't want to hear about it because that tells you right away it's going on in the house, right?
Yeah.
And that's that. I understand that. I mean, I understand why they would approach it that way, but hopefully there's enough people reading the book and it's helping them on a personal level. I'm not saying it's easy to be faithful either, right? Like it's not an easy thing. Everybody has something they struggle with. I'm just saying we have to fight, use the tools necessary to fight with. And sometimes that's a high level of accountability. It's living with boundaries. It's making adjustments. It's learning how to. I think what you ladies do, we need to learn from that because y'all will go in self-care. Y'all will go to the spa. Y'all will go get your feet done. You go get your nails done. You go get a massage. You get a facial. I see you out at the golf course. You gonna get your relaxed time in. See us, rest of us, we stressed all day, counseling, preaching, don't take care of ourselves. Then now you want to have sex with somebody, right? Where there may be other things you can do that actually gets endorphins and enkephalins moving in your brain and comfort you, so you don't have to have a violation for relaxation. Right? Which is so I think, you know, we gotta get our men comfortable with self-care that's not reckless or dangerous. I think that's important.
Yeah. Wow. Last year was 30 years of marriage. Now you're celebrating 31 years. In the last couple of weeks, you shared about your own struggle with infidelity. Most stories I've heard, including mine, because honestly, infidelity was like a deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
It was a deal breaker for me. Which I was having a conversation with a friend. She's on this call, Pastor Vita. And I said, you know, in my 50s, yeah. I said in my 50s, it's not a deal breaker. Now, I'm not condoning it, but what it has to be a conversation. And I think we put these, we don't have the kind of relationships where we can have the conversation with our spouse saying, I'm not being fed.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not being fed. Instead of me having to look around or sneak around to be fed, I'm telling you and I have made a commitment to feed each other, and I'm not being fed or you're not being fed. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Let's talk it through. You know, my love tank is empty or something. But what we do is the church has made us feel bad that if we even had that thought, so we suppress it and we don't share it with our mate.
That's good. That's right. And then we take that shame into secret, dark places where somebody is more than willing to put something on our plate since our spouse ain't putting it on it.
Right.
So if you hungry, come over here.
Right.
So there's always somebody whose restaurant is always open.
Right.
Right. And I'm saying maybe sex is not the only food, right? So how about some conversation? How about we do some things together? How about we share interests? How about we have some fun? Because a lot of infidelity, I think people think that when people are having an affair, that that's all they're doing is having sex 24 hours a day. That's just a part of it. What they're having is a relationship. And what's happening over in that relationship is people don't go to eat something somewhere else when they have an abundance of it at home.
Ooh.
What they're looking for the deficit. Where's the deficit? And so if I can't find that in my work, so somebody will have an affair with their job.
Right?
So they're working overtime, working around the clock to make sure that they get their ego fed in that way because they don't feel like a hero or champion at home. We all have all kinds of ways that we kind of cheat on the marriage, right? And it's not always sexual. But I love what you're saying. Can we have the conversation? And sometimes if a person reaches out and they feel rejected by what they reach, well, what you mean? Well, I got these kids I got to take care of, and I'm paying all the bills. And what you asking for more? You keep asking stuff. Well, what happens then is I try to bring this to your attention that this is this fills my love tank, and I want this from you. That's why I'm bringing it to you. And then the person snaps and like, hey, you go. It's always something. Don't I do this? Don't I do that? Well, how many more times you want to bring that to their attention?
Right.
So now you feel like now I'm on my own. So now I got to pray, Lord, please touch this person's heart. Please touch this person's heart to meet this need. And if you don't, how long will you expect a person to stay in that space? And what I've said is I try to build my life in such a way where I'm not dependent upon any one thing to feed me.
Right.
So I got to have things that I enjoy in my life and give myself permission to have a life that has more than one vegetable in the garden. So that if my broccoli's not acting right, I still got carrots, I still got cabbage, I still got spinach. I gotta have other things that feed me, not other people, like side kids.
Right.
I get fed by going to sporting events. You know, I go to Wizards games all the time, right? So that feeds me. I enjoy that. I like watching boxing. I've learned to like working out, or going to parks and stuff like that. So find out things that feed you, so that you're not going to your spouse saying, feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me all the time. But I do think you're right. We should bring to her attention that I'm feeling a little malnourished here.
Right. I think the conversation begins. You can't heal what you conceal. So the conversation, because I think about even in my own marriage, and then we'll move on from that and just end it up. And I got a couple of questions. I think I didn't give my spouse that opportunity to have the conversation with me, because once I tell you, hey, listen, I love you, looking forward to be married to you, but Negro, if you ever look at the black woman neck, if you ever cheat on me, you going to, and you know, that time I wasn't like fully saved, so you know, I used some other language. You know, if you ever, and you know what's so crazy, Battle, and you know my situation is what I feared as a child showed up in my marriage. What I feared as a child showed up in my marriage. It's like I'm married. I was in therapy, and my counselor said to me, "Oh, the choice that you made was a little girl's choice."
Yeah.
The little girl picked a little boy.
Yeah, and sometimes subconsciously, the little girl may have been saying, "I know I'm attracted to the same thing, but this is a way I can fix it as an adult, what I couldn't fix as a child." We tend to be attracted. So if you grew up with an unavailable father, emotionally unavailable father, you'll marry an emotionally unavailable man, thinking that I can repair what I missed in my childhood. And I agree with your therapist 100%. We end up making that choice, right, out of a broken place. And then, like you said, we had a non-negotiable that put the marriage on the rocks. Like, okay, well, this ain't gonna work. There's no recovering from this. And by the way, 80% of marriages survive infidelity. That's a lady named Debbie Wade in Grapevine, Texas. She says that it's as high as 85% of people.
What?
And I said they not only survive infidelity, some marriages thrive in it. Yeah, a lot of marriages have some level of infidelity, and some of it's sexual, some of it is just somebody's. Because virtual infidelity is pornography. Like, how comfortable would a woman feel with her husband masturbating to pornography, and she discovers that? That's not something that person, or a man, and she feels like, man, you looking at these videos playing with yourself, like, and I'm right here, and you won't come to me, like, what is it that it makes you feel like you're in competition with an actress or an actor or some sex vixen, sexual vixen, video vixen. So all of it, more marriages experience infidelity than I think people are not only aware of, but certainly willing to admit, because people don't want to admit it. That's why I'm saying it makes people quit, because people think it's abnormal. You'd be surprised at how many people, if they really had confidentiality, would tell you, "Oh yeah, we went through that," and you'd be like, "Y'all went through that?" Yeah. Like, I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody that hasn't gone through it, and I'm gonna leave it right there.
I'm telling you,
I just ain't gonna ask everybody.
That's why your book, I was like, man, you fill a void, you tackle it. Everybody who's just joining, gotta go back and check the rebroadcast of his side chickology, talking to Pastor Keith Battle. We're not just talking about that, but talking about a different things, and to celebrate 31 years of marriage after all of this. My goodness. Last question, how did you rebuild the trust? How did you rebuild? Man, I seen you and Vicky, and I told you, the Bible said don't envy, but what you and Vicky got, hey, listen, you guys are just amazing. I know a ministry came out of it because you had a retreat last year or something. But how did you and Vicky started rebuilding? How was that? How has that process?
Yeah, so you're seeing the last 8 years. The first 23 were terrible, right? So
Mm,
um, yeah, I didn't just go out like day one of the marriage and have an affair. Like it was so bad, so long, and I got close to. I let my guard down. I let myself get close to somebody I shouldn't have. And but I would say for us, the rebuilding the trust came from she got advice from a therapist because we were in counseling. We did a lot of counseling. We did a lot of counseling, and one of the therapists told her, "Believe behavior. It's not enough what a person says. Believe behavior." And
wow.
I was just committed. I was committed to saving my family. That's what I wanted. I never thought my marriage would get better. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to put my children through what I went through because I grew up in a broken family, and I was surprised at the marriage work when we worked on it. When we started doing little things like affirming each other and going on dates. One of the biggest things we just started having fun together, and I think because I always wanted my wife to be the person that I got love from. When I started getting it from her, it felt like it was coming from a safe place. I didn't have to hide it. I could celebrate. And you can't go on social media and celebrate the love you have from a side chick or a side slick. But I could celebrate this love and I did. And I think my wife, you should have her come on sometimes because she made adjustments, right?
Mm,
And and I think the affair made her look at me different. It made her look at, her role in the marriage differently as well. And she's the one who lost trust in me, so she would have to tell you how the trust was rebuilt.
okay.
I don't really know. I think she saw that I was genuinely sorrowful and that I was committed to being committed to my marriage and my family. And that meant putting boundaries between me and anybody else that could ruin the marriage. It meant making adjustments to how I move, being accountable, getting help, making amendments in my life. Like I think you know me good enough. We've known each other since the '80s, and I'm not a wild dude. I've never crossed a line with you. I've always treated you with respect. I never, you know, I've I've never, I'm not even that dude, right? So it wasn't like I'm not saying I'm the fourth person in the Trinity either. I'm still a guy, but but I went back into that space where even if I found a woman attractive, I wasn't gonna go holler at her. You know, like it's some basic respectful things that you do to put in place, and Proverbs 5, Dr. Jazz says that one of the defenses to infidelity is firing up your own marriage. Like let
Mm,
your wife's breath satisfy you. Be ravaged with her love. Like so, I think it's one thing to fight off a cold with trying to avoid cold, but it's another thing to fight off a cold by making sure your own defenses and your own immune system is high. And so, what has made COVID-19 so dangerous for people is a compromised immune system. I think what makes infidelity such a threat to marriages is that marriage's joy and peace and stability has been compromised,
yeah,
and it makes us vulnerable to that stuff. So, a strong marriage makes for a less vulnerable marriage to infidelity.
yeah.
You know,
Oh,
so I got to
I,
give my wife credit for doing her part and making my home a place where I enjoy being.
wow.
Yeah.
Battle, what? Thank you so very much for sharing. Y'all, you're
Thank
lighting
you.
up my chat going crazy in here. Y'all got 99 questions. But what did Jay Z said? I have 99 problem. Okay, okay, we all got 99 questions. And we short in time, and my Wi-Fi going to go down in 3 minutes. So y'all know you got to get it in right now. But Battle, what is COVID-19 this year has taught you, if anything? What? Uh,
it's taught me that there's a lot of things we thought we couldn't live without that we've learned to live without. There are a lot of adjustments. I remember this couple in my church told me they had their groceries delivered to their house. I was like, who does that? I'm going to pick my own oranges out, my own kale out, my own seafood, whatever. And who knew? Like, I would never go to the grocery store again, man. They bring my groceries to my house, and I would have to be riding past the grocery store, and it would just have to be right on the way. Like, I ain't got time for it anymore, right? So it's amazing when you have things stripped away from you, how we're survivors. We just learn to adjust. Like, we do that. And I think we can learn, I've learned to live a healthier life, not ripping and running all the time. Like being still. Like there's a level of knowing God, according to Psalm 46, that requires stillness.
Yes.
Like when he says be still, he ain't just saying be still. Be still. I am God, but be still so you can know it.
Yeah.
So I think stillness has been a blessing. I can look at all the negative, 114,000 or more lives have been lost. A lot of people have been very sick. But I can also look at, wow, we learned to live with stuff we thought we couldn't live without. And that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Jonathan Queen, what's up? You know, that's my son in the ministry, right?
Yeah. He's on here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love it. The Zion Nation is out here today. Thank y'all so very much. Yeah.
Okay. I can't tell. I see people typing.
Yeah. You need glasses.
Yeah. You good with this stuff. There goes Sean McBride.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Sean? I'm telling you, they're out here. This is some good stuff. So I saw in our county, the DMV, that the county executive, Angela Alsabrook, has said churches can reopen with 20 people. Where is Zion going? Where are you guys going from here? What's your thing? I know you got that brand new building. What do you think?
You know, we bought a brand new building. Our total investment is $17 million in the first 60,000 square feet, and we can't even use it. It's funny. It's almost funny, right? Because it's state of the art. We did it up, right? But I respect our county executive. I love Angela Alsabrook, and I respect what she's doing. Like, and she's in a staggered phase 2. I'm gonna be in phase 5. If it's 4 phases, I'm waiting on phase 5. I want to see when they start letting people in the White House and hug the president.
Yes.
That's when I'm coming out.
Yes.
Our people are most vulnerable to this disease.
Yes.
We probably have more cases of it that went. I believe a lot of us had it and didn't even get tested for it. We just went through it. We coughing and short of breath and all that. And took our asthma inhalers and just fought through it with the blood.
Yeah.
But it's too much of a risk. I don't have a service that I could put 20 people in. I don't have a campus I could put 20 people in. I don't want. Then who we gonna pick? Who gonna get to be the 20 people? Like, how we gonna decide on that?
Heads or tail.
And you know, we love hugging and greeting one another. Who gonna police that? You gotta clean the building at CDC standards. You know, because these black folk that say they love us as pastors, let one of them get sick and die in our church and watch their cousins and aunts and nieces come after us and saying, you know, that happened at that church. And they're gonna come after us. So I'm chilling. I'm gonna be the last. We're gonna be the last church to go back. People gonna be fussing. They fussing now. We're trying to figure out how we can stay online and be effective in that way and be safe. They don't have an inoculation for this. They don't know if it's going to resurge. There's so many uncertainties around it. Why put our seniors at risk coming in church and some 22-year-old is asymptomatic, get up on them and then they on a respirator? I just don't see I don't see it happening anytime soon.
No. 2025. You know, here's my thing. 2025 battle. 21, they're going to say they have a vaccine. 2022, they got to give it to Trump first before they give it to me. I want to see it be tested by 2023. 24, I got to see the negative consequences. And 25 is when I'm getting in line. But listen, in spite of this, I know there's one thing that you're happy about. The NBA is coming back. Okay, come on, let's talk some sports. You know, come on. Every time I'm watching you, you got these crazy sports. He's the chaplain for the Wizard. What's going on? Is the Wizard going to do anything this season? Please.
First of all, let me tell you something. I hope you're wrong about Trump getting a shot at 22. If they got to give him a shot first, that means he won the election. Oh, God.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I just got off the phone with the VP of player director, Garrett Temple. He plays with Brooklyn Nets, but he's in New York. And so they're putting them in a bubble, Dr. Jazz, and I think they're scheduled to report July 31st. But here's how it's going to work. They're going to be in a bubble in Orlando. It's 4 hotels, so only NBA employees, only people connected to the league can get into this bubble, right? But here's the deal. Once you get in, you can't leave. You can't. So everything they need, the restaurants, the doctors, they have medical staff, they have daily COVID-19 testing. So Disney has set up this place for them where they are able to house everybody and do all of this stuff. Their families can't come in, right? And this is for round 1. Some of the players are fighting this. They don't want to be held down because, they got places they want to go down in Orlando and hang out and stuff. If you leave the bubble, you're not allowed to play. If you don't play, you don't get paid. And they have to have a 10-day waiting period to come back in if they leave. And even that, they may have to, I don't know, the quarantine is 10 days or something like this. So these are some of the rules around it. And so they sanitize it as much as they possibly can. And if anybody gets sick, they must be removed from the bubble. So it's pretty tight. So you can't, we just can't casually walk in. If I were to go, if they were to invite me as a chaplain to go, I would have to go in, do the first medical check, and I couldn't leave the bubble. If I leave, you can't come back in. You got to wait 10 days. So,
wow.
So it's the good about it is we'll finally have something else on TV except for murder and something to at least give us a mental health break. Yeah. The downside is that I'm a little afraid that it may take too much attention off this justice pressure we have on right now.
Right.
And so the guys really have to be, we talked about this today, they really have to be conscientious about using that national platform to continue to bring. Now, everybody needs to be Colin Kaepernick in the NBA. Like every interview, you got to say, we still got to, this is just a game right here. What's going on outside of this bubble right now, we're still concerned about. They got to keep paying attention to it. Otherwise, it could take some of the attention off. But I think, it's how they make money. It's how they make their living. If they have a choice. No player is being forced to go back out of 450 players. But this is what you got to know. If any of those 450 players don't go back, number one, they don't get paid. If they don't go into the bubble. Number 2, they will be replaced. Because you got guys overseas and you got guys in the G League that will jump. They don't care if it wasn't a bubble. They'll play with a mask on. They just want an opportunity to play. Wow. So that's the situation. That's basically 4:30 p.m. today. I just gave you 4:30 p.m. update today. Your people got it.
Wow.
It's called the Orlando Bubble.
Orlando Bubble.
Yep. They're creating it right now. So one of the things that they have to do is they can't have any civilians in that space. So this is what the deal is, right? The people who work there have to stay there now. That's what billionaires can do. You can't leave the bubble. You leave the bubble, you got to stay out for 10 days. So now if you work at the hotel, you work in hotel services, you're making up beds or whatever, everybody there, they're creating a world right there. That's what they're doing. It's serious.
Gosh.
So the camera crew, they're setting it up now. So the camera crew and all that stuff. So they, because the only way this works they got to put it on television so they can get the television money and the ads money and all that to make it work. They haven't brought in they haven't generated income since March, and that's a big hit on NBA owners because those concessions, the parking, the ticket sales, all of that stuff. It's crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh,
that is going to be quick. And when does it start? In July or after? When? In the fall?
I think everybody reports July 31st.
Okay.
And they're going to do it like, it's going to be like kind of so first of all, they play 8 games. Everybody gets 8 games.
Okay.
Everybody wasn't invited. So they had 30 teams. 22 teams were invited. Out of those 22 teams, so you have 11 in the West, 11 in the East, right? So at the end of these 8 games, the top not 18 teams will then compete. The 8th and 9th seed will then compete for the final playoff spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I think the Wizards are 9th in the East, so they have a shot.
Okay.
But it's 8 games. What happens is if the 8th seed wins that game, so the 8th and 9th seed will play a maximum of 3 games to get into the playoffs. If the 8th seed wins the game, it's over. If the 9th seed wins the game, it's 2 out of to play in. And then they'll play the playoffs. And it's all happening in the bubble.
Wow.
And one of the reasons why they want to contain it and do it this way, because they don't have to wait a lot of time for teams to travel to the next city. Nobody has a home court advantage. Everybody's playing in the bubble, and there's no fan base there. The other thing about it is that I think that they're trying to do, which is smart, they're trying to get it done so that the WNBA season can start up quickly afterwards. Because the WNBA players, Dr. Jazz, make most of their money overseas. So when they finish their season, they go overseas where they make their most money. A few players in the WNBA make good money, but most of them don't make a lot of money in the WNBA. They make most of their money overseas. So they're trying to get these 2 seasons compressed and get them in time so that they can make their money too. So that's the logic behind it.
Oh my goodness. Hey everybody, I've been talking to the one and only Pastor Keith Battle. He's a great pastor, but every time I'm checking, he always talking about sports. He's hooked me up with some Wizard tickets a few times, and I just love him. We were classmates together. We are colleagues in ministry. His book is Side Chickology. Pastor Battle, tell them how they can get a hold of you, get a hold of your book, how they can follow you, give them the whole 9 yards, and then we're rolling out of here.
Yeah, I'm at Keith Battle everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Keith Battle. And the book, the best place to get the book is at Amazon. Because like you said, everything's closed right now. So the best way to get it is at Amazon. Or, that's the best place to get the book.
You're still doing your podcast?
I haven't done an episode in a while, but my last episode was a billionaire named Jeff Hoffman. He started Priceline.com. You got to check that one out. But since I interviewed you, I was doing them every week at one time, but I just, that's the thing. That we did it for 2 years, almost 2 years. We have over 100 episodes, but, just finding content and people and trying to do it virtually, it just was hard. We did yours 3 times, I think.
Oh my goodness! It just wouldn't take.
Yeah. Going wrong.
I was on the phone. Then I came to the retreat that you had. And we tried to do it there. Then I came into the studio, your place, and we finally got it hooked up. And thing. But I'm so honored to have you on my show, and thank you so very much. Remember, I told you I wanted my own show. Look at that. Little did I know, I didn't have to wait for Oprah or anybody to call me. I just created my space in the virtual world. And so thank you so very much. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. That was Pastor Keith Battle. Next week, oh, my goodness, Howard John Wesley. I'm telling you, it's all guys. Last week was Pastor YPJ. Next week is Howard John Wesley. Today was Pastor Keith Battle. And I'll end this month strong with, I call him our modern day Malcolm X, Dr. King. Pastor Jamal Bryan is going to finish it for the month of June. But again, thanks everybody for joining us. I did my first live show in an RV battle, in an RV park. Park.
In RV Park. With Trump 2020 all around you.
All over. Bishop O'Neill is here because we went golfing on yesterday, and she said, I'm about to put my flag out. Anybody but Trump. I'm like, O'Neill, do you have a couple of guns? We can't put that out there.
Yeah. Y'all be safe. Be safe. Be safe.
Be up all night. But Battle, thanks so much. God bless you.
We don't need to beat them with a flag. We need to beat them at the voting booth.
That's right. Register to vote. Register to vote. I'm excited about this year. Thanks, Battle. Hey, God bless you all. Have a fantastic day.